Have you ever noticed that some women don't flirt in obvious, direct ways? Instead of making their interest clear, they observe quietly. They test your awareness without saying a word. And this becomes even more true when you're a man over 50. At this stage, women interact with you differently. They don't want to appear needy. They don't want to seem too available or too easy to read. So instead of showing attraction openly, they communicate it in a more subtle, almost hidden way. And here's what most men never realize. When a woman feels drawn to a mature man, she will almost always reveal it through two very specific questions. These questions are not random. They are signals carefully placed, easy to miss if you're not paying attention. Before we uncover them, take a second to reflect. Have you ever looked back at a conversation and suddenly realized she was interested and you completely missed it? That moment where everything clicks too late? It happens to a lot of men. And the truth is, it's not because the signs weren't there. It's because they weren't understood. Many men over 50 start believing something that simply isn't true. They think they've become invisible. They assume women, especially younger women or even women their own age, are no longer interested. But reality tells a very different story. A man who carries life experience, emotional stability, and calm confidence often becomes more attractive with time, not less. The real problem is not a lack of attraction. The real problem is misunderstanding how that attraction is expressed. Women rarely communicate desire in a straightforward way. They don't usually say, "I like you" or "I'm interested in you." Instead, they observe. They test your emotional strength, your presence, and your awareness of subtle cues. When a woman starts to feel safe around you emotionally and mentally, her behavior shifts. The conversation changes. It moves from casual to intentional. She becomes more curious, more engaged. And that curiosity isn't random. It's purposeful. She begins asking questions designed to understand three key things about you: your emotional strength, your openness to connection, and your awareness. But to truly understand why these questions matter, you need to see the deeper psychology behind them. Men who grew up in a different era often expect communication to be direct and clear. But modern attraction doesn't work that way. Even mature women express interest in indirect ways. They don't openly say, "I want to get closer to you." Instead, they explore. They test the emotional space between you. And there's a reason for that. Deep down, many women carry a quiet fear. If they show interest too clearly, they risk being judged. They risk appearing too eager. So instead, they hide their attraction inside simple, harmless-looking questions. These questions are not about gathering information. They're about creating connection. Think of them as emotional bridges. She places them gently between you and her, waiting to see if you step forward with awareness or miss the moment entirely. Most men answer these questions at face value. They respond logically without recognizing what's really being asked. But a grounded, aware man understands something deeper. He hears the meaning behind the words because when she asks these questions, she's not collecting data. She's checking alignment. She's asking without saying it directly. "Can I move closer to you?" The first question she asks is meant to reveal your availability, not your schedule, but your emotional openness. It often sounds simple, like, "Do you spend a lot of time alone?" At first, it feels like small talk, but it's not. What she's really asking is there space in your life for someone like me? Are you open to connection, or are you closed off in your routines? She may phrase it differently. "Do you usually go out by yourself? Are you seeing anyone right now? Do you keep to yourself most of the time?" But the meaning remains the same. She's not asking because she's curious about your habits. She's asking because she's imagining herself in your world. She wants to feel whether there is room for her without forcing her way in. Most men make a mistake here. They answer too literally. "Yeah, I'm alone most of the time." Or "Not really. It depends." But a strong, grounded man responds differently. He answers with balance. He shows openness without neediness. Something like, "I enjoy my own space, but I appreciate good company when it feels right." That kind of response does two things instantly. It tells her you're emotionally available, but not dependent. And it creates a quiet invitation for her to step closer. When she feels that balance, something shifts inside her. She feels possibility. She feels safety. And that leads her to the second question. The second question goes deeper, much deeper. She might ask, "What are you looking for these days?" This is not casual conversation. This is a defining moment. She's no longer just exploring your openness. She's trying to understand your direction. She wants to know, do you have purpose? Do you know what you want? Are you emotionally grounded or just drifting through life? She may phrase it differently. What are you focused on right now? What do you want at this stage of your life? Where do you see things going for you? But every version of this question is asking the same thing. Are you a man with direction I can trust? For a woman, especially when considering a mature man, this matters deeply. Attraction alone is not enough. She needs to feel that your life has movement, clarity, and stability. This is where many men unknowingly break the moment. They respond with uncertainty. I'm just taking things day by day. I'm not really sure right now. I just want peace. But what she hears is not simplicity. She hears lack of direction. And when a woman senses that, she pulls back. A confident man doesn't need a long explanation. He only needs clarity. He might say, I'm building a life that feels meaningful with the right people around me. Or I'm focused on growth, good experiences, and genuine connections. These answers signal something powerful. They show that you are moving forward. They show that you know yourself, and they create space for her to imagine being part of that journey. When she feels that clarity, attraction deepens. Because here's something many men never fully realize. Women are not just attracted to appearance or charm. They are drawn to presence, purpose, and emotional awareness. These two questions about your openness and your direction are not random. They are emotional checkpoints. When she asks them, she is quietly deciding whether to move closer or walk away. Picture a real moment. You're sitting together, maybe in a cafe or at a small gathering. The conversation flows easily. There's warmth, a subtle tension. She smiles a little more, holds eye contact just a bit longer. Then she asks, so, do you spend a lot of time alone? That's her first step. If you respond with calm confidence, she feels encouraged. Later, she asks, what are you looking for these days? That's her second step. If your answer carries clarity and direction, she feels safe to open up further. But if you miss these moments, the door quietly closes. And here's the truth most men never hear. Women rarely offer the same emotional invitation twice. When they open a door, it's subtle and often brief. If you recognize it, you step into a deeper connection. If you miss it, the moment disappears without explanation. So remember this. A woman rarely says she's interested. She reveals it through how she engages, how she observes, and the questions she asks. When you learn to notice these signals, you stop guessing. You stop overthinking. You start seeing attraction for what it really is. Quiet, subtle, and powerful. And for a man over 50, this awareness changes everything. Because at this stage, attraction isn't about chasing or proving yourself. It's about presence. It's about clarity. It's about understanding what's being said without words. When you master that, you don't just notice interest. You naturally become the man women are drawn to without even